Sheriff Rob Maciol. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. How are you?
Appreciate you waiting. I know you've been on hold for, but Hobika is so long-winded.
Yeah, he wouldn't
Sheriff.
stop. He wouldn't stop answering my questions.
He danced around your questions pretty good.
Yes, he does. He's a dancer. He is a dancer. All right. So, as you know, we have Geena Hobika and Nicole Koza, and of course they're with CNY Services Milestones. We have a real problem in the country, really, with these opioids and heroin overdose and drug abuse. But I think it might surprise people when they find out there's a problem in our jails, and in particular here, Oneida County Jail. What's the situation?
Well, there's several of them. The biggest challenge we have as administrators of county jail around New York State, we are the only state left in the country where it is mandated during visitation that inmates can kiss on the lips with their visitors. So when their friends or loved ones or whatever come in, both at the beginning of their visit and departure, they're allowed to kiss and embrace. Contraband is passed. We do catch a lot of it, but unfortunately contraband does get into the facility through visitation. That's probably the easiest way it gets in. From there, obviously, it's retrieved later on by the inmate as it passes through their system. And lo and behold, now we have, heroin in the jail. We had one incident probably 2 months ago where that exact scenario played out, and the one inmate shared his heroin with his two neighboring inmates in the cell next to him. And now we have 3 overdoses, where they were actually in need of the administration of Narcan to bring them back.
Wow.
So it's a challenge. I mean, it's not just here; it's everywhere. We're seeing mail coming into the facility where, whether it's behind a stamp or underneath the part of the envelope where it's licked, where there's contraband placed. People are unfortunately very creative in trying to get contraband into correctional facilities. So, I mean, that's one way. And obviously when inmates are booked in, many of them are still under the influence. And then obviously then they go through the time when they don't have their drugs. And that's where our partnership with mental health and medical staff and Central New York Services, it's a struggle. But like I said, we're trying to do everything we can, and we do have a few new programs, and I'm sure that's what they're there to talk about, that we're excited about. Anything we can do to get this problem under control, and like I said, as far as the jail goes, we want to keep our inmates safe, and we also want to get them some rehabilitative services so that when we transition them back into the community, they can lead. They can become productive members of society.
All right. I want to bring Geena and Nicole in. So you guys are working together with the county on this, and what kind of program are we talking about that can be done inside the jail?
Well, we are working with the Sheriff's Department and the jail, and we're bringing in a program to be able to administrate the Vivitrol before they get released. So that's linking them up to our services in an outpatient setting.
Okay.
After they get released from incarceration, and in other jails that we've researched across the state, it's been going very well, and 20% of recidivism has been shown that this program does really work.
And Sheriff, are you? Did I hear you right and say that the Oneida County facility is the only one with physical contact, or is that in all county jails throughout the state?
The only state left in the country.
Only state in the country.
Mandated that visitors can embrace, and when we say embrace, they can kiss on the lips when their visitors come, and when they leave, that's where contraband is passed. Yeah. If it was up to, my colleagues across the state, all the other sheriffs, we work with the State Commission of Corrections. We're trying to convince them that the kiss on the lips is the reason that contraband is coming into the facility, and we should be able to not allow that when we have information or when we have reason to believe that contraband is going to enter the facility. But again, that's a whole other issue. But we're excited about Vivitrol. It's been used in some other county jails around the state. We've got all the players in place here as far as medical staff, mental health staff. The folks to administer the drug, Vivitrol, to provide the blocking. It's basically Vivitrol blocks the person's desire to want that high.
Yeah, okay.
The catch is, we give them that shot before they transition into the community. But, the key is working with these folks to make sure that the inmate, before that next 30 days is up, and 60 days and 90 days when they're out in the community, that they continue to receive these shots of Vivitrol, because if they don't, they're going to go right back. But it is very effective where it's being done.
What percentages end up going right back, would you say, Geena?
Well, that's hard to determine because everybody is different, and they haven't tried this program with a Vivitrol shot.
This is new.
It is new. And the focus would be to administer the shot to manage the cravings. So they've been incarcerated and sober, coming back out into an environment that they left where they used to use, and they are on the triggers, and this helps manage the cravings so that during treatment we can work with them.
Okay.
How long does the shot last again?
30 days.
And this is something you got to be on for the rest of your life, though, right?
No.
Okay.
I've had people on the shot that have been incarcerated, came out, started on different types of medically assisted treatment, weaned down onto Vivitrol, and then stayed on Vivitrol for a few months, and then said, I think I'm ready to try.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Vivitrol is that you can come off of it, and there's no withdrawal.
Okay.
Right. It's one of the only non-narcotic medications out there for opiate addiction.
And Sheriff, I think I've asked you this question before. If you were to remove the drug problem from society, if we remove that, what would happen to the jail and the population at the jail?
It would drop significantly. Whether it's folks that are in there for, directly in there for drug-related charges, or the indirect charges, the burglaries, the larcenies, the armed robberies, the things that, unfortunately these addicts, and, they have that need to get their drug, and when they don't have the money, they commit crimes to do so. And it's sad. I've watched, this has been around for a while, but just in the past couple of years, the heroin epidemic, I've watched families get destroyed by this, not only financially, but through the suicides, or through, like I said, through, loved ones going off to prison for a long time. And I've said it a million times, we cannot arrest our way out of this problem. That is a key component of what we have to do, but that's only one part of it. And this is huge here, our partnerships and plus all the other things that are going on in the jail. So while these folks are administering the Vivitrol program, we're working with the inmates through workforce development to find them a job. We've got our other grants where we try to find them a place to live. Our goal, obviously my obligation is to keep them locked up and safe and secure, but also it's my obligation to work with them so that when we do transition them into the community, they don't come back.
Right. I think that's the big key. This partnership really seems to work. Sheriff, I appreciate your time. We'll chat again. I want to keep you guys. We'll talk more about some signs that families can look for. Got a break at WIBX.